Thank you, Chairman. And Director Slagle, thank you for being here today. Thank you for talking to me earlier this year. In fact, the chairman mentioned that the budget that we have before us, the subject of this hearing, is late this year. He's described it as a little late. 3 months is probably significantly late in anyone else's book. Tell us again why the delay for the CBO baseline this year?
Okay, no, very good. So it's three different pieces to it. One was that we normally would have done an update in January. The people who would have done that were busy with the analysis on Build Back Better, and just between those two priorities, we could not do the update in January.
May I just interrupt you there?
No, please.
It seems like that would be, if you were trying to properly price and project the cost of a major spending bill, a major spending reconciliation bill, you would at least want to have your baseline set, or you would at least prioritize the continued work on setting the baseline before you proceeded with another massive spending project if you were truly concerned about the effect of, or the budgetary impacts of what you're doing. Would I be wrong to make that sort of assumption?
Of course, the latest information would be helpful, and we try to be as helpful as we can to policymakers. But that Build Back Better delay, that's the first of the three components to the delay that we faced. I can go into the other two quickly.
Briefly.
Okay, yeah, very quickly I'll say. So the second is the fiscal year 22 appropriations, that those were delayed as well. And then the third is that the president's budget, the submission of that was delayed. And so as we get information on last year's actual spending when the president releases the budget. And so it's those three components pushed our baseline, our economic update back until yesterday.
So two on the White House and one on the Congress that kept you from being able to do your job. But when we spoke earlier in the year, you suggested to me that the strength of the economy going into the pandemic was much stronger than you had anticipated. Did I understand that correctly?
That is correct. That the economy in early 2021, as compared to the forecast we put out in early 2021, the economy is stronger, that people are coming back into the labor market, and the impact of the fiscal policy that had been undertaken, I think, is more impactful than we understood at the time.
And just to be clear, this is fiscal 2021, so actually starting October 1st of 2020.
That's right. I'm thinking of the CAA, the Appropriations Act that was enacted at the end of 2020, had essentially more economic impact payments, the rebate checks, put back some expanded unemployment insurance, and some other things like that.
Another thing you related to me was that the amount of tax collections were stronger than you had anticipated, and it looks like from your report that you're delivering us today that has continued. Is that correct?
That's right. That continues to be the case. It's both from the economy is stronger. There's some timing shifts that the pandemic legislation delayed some taxes, so we're seeing some of that come back now. Even beyond that, tax revenue is
when you report a reduction in the deficit, is that largely because the strength of the income tax collections were stronger than what you'd anticipated?
It's a mix that compared to our previous analysis.
Well, how much of that mix was increased tax revenues? We were all told that this was $1 trillion giveaway to the millionaires and billionaires, according to Chairman Sanders. So what's the deal here?
So I'll tell you, if you compare the projection we made in 2020 for 2022, right? So we're saying it's $1 trillion is what we're saying now. We previously thought it'd be 1.2 trillion, and that's the mix. That revenue is about $400 billion stronger than we anticipated. Spending
that's an important number, $400 billion stronger. I mean, that's pretty significant. Look, do you stress test this stuff? We require banks to stress test their projections or balance sheets does any of your modeling require stress testing of what is happening to the United States economy with the spending of the Biden administration?
No, absolutely. And it's something that we think about. I think about what could go wrong. And we've done some of this work. We had recent work that we did for Senator Crapo and the Finance Committee on what's the fiscal effect of higher inflation. We looked at 2 different scenarios. We're continuing to do some of that. What's the effect of higher inflation and higher interest rates? What would it mean for the economy? And what would it mean for the fiscal situation? I'm hopeful that we'll have more on that later this year.
Well, I hope to follow up with you on that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, gentlemen's time is